water.
You have to have a big glass of water now. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm saluting. You have to salute. I want to do a couple of little housekeeping things before we get going. One is I have to apologize for the sound. Our sound system is really screwed up, and I don't know why. It's a computer. We did a podcast last month with a young man from Southern California, and we had to fool around with the sound in order to work well with this podcast, and I have never been able to get it back where it needs to be. Are you hearing me clearly now? Yes? So? Some people yes, some people sort of so. What has been happening is our sound has been too low, and when you guys talk, it's like you're shouting, and I mean shouting. So I've fooled with everything back and forth, both on the computer and on the microphone, and I cannot get it to work. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have to take a couple hours and find a volunteer to do a series of little short 2-minute meetings with me and just try a million different things until we finally figure this out. So maybe Kevin, not Mr. Kopp's not you, but Kevin Dwyer can help with that because he's off for a few days. The second thing is Annie is going to do the Pita patting exercise every morning, and you need a Pita pad. Some of you have those. You can just use open hand too. I always did that. But we have a bunch of Pita pads, and I'm happy to send you one. So I got a bunch of mailing tubes, and they arrived earlier. So I've got a box of mailing tubes here that we can put the Pita pads in. I think several of you have them, and a bunch of you don't have them. Anyway, we will be sending them out to everyone, as long as you're within the United States itself. All right? Any questions? Okay, let me get my stick. Did we do the bell?
Yes.
Okay, let me get my stick. And the other side. Lee circles. And reverse. And shoe circles. And reverse. And pink circles. And reverse. And reverse. and block. Hold on to your sticks a minute. I want to demonstrate something for you if Annie will cooperate with me. So Annie's going to come over on my right side. And we're going to stay here where you can see us clearly. She's going to try to do this. Right? And what I'm going to do is, as she watch her arm as she does that. Right? She's twisting her own arm. That's silk reeling. It's spiraling inside. So I'm going to listen to her spiral and not fight it. I'm going to go with it. And now I'm going to, that was the escape. Now I'm going to put my joint lock on her, but I'm going to do it wrong. And when I do it wrong, use your other arm to push me forward. Right? What did I do wrong?
I know.
She knows. Go ahead. What did you? Go tell us.
You lost your center hara line.
I lost my hara line. I lost my Dan-Chen line from the Dan-Chen down and the Dan-Chen up. It's like a tree. The Dan-Chen is like a seed. It grows roots down and it grows trunk up. And if you don't maintain that, I don't mean mechanically and stiffly, but if you don't maintain a consciousness of that, you're gonna lose your body. And we're gonna do it again, right? Also gonna do it wrong, right? Just watch what I'm doing. I'm just unbalancing myself. I've got no solid core. Now I'm gonna do it the right way. And I'm not really doing this because this is a devastating move if somebody actually does it to you. But I'm going to just sort of fake it, right? I'm going to come down on her arm, and then I'm going to sink into the foot that's holding my weight, which is the front foot. Right? Now try to push me.
It's like pushing a mountain.
All right. And then I'm just going to shift my weight to the other foot, to the back foot. And she will have to move, or her entire shoulder will be pulled out of the joint. All right? Thank you.
Go.
Now, what has that got to do with our stick work?
Yeah.
The principle of Shu Ling Ding Jin Qi Chen Dan Chen is something that you have to keep in your mind all the time. Every exercise, every Tai Chi form, and actually it should spread out into your whole life, because this is just the way a tree should grow, right? So when you are doing this exercise, don't do this. You don't need to look down at your pole. The water's down there. What you need to do is come up to the top of your head. Partly that's just to create stability in your body. This is moving. So it has to play off something that's stable and that is not moving. And that's your central core. But there's another aspect to this. This is a downward going energy. For every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. That will happen. If it doesn't happen, there won't be any power in it. So if I'm actually pulling a boat down the Yangtze River, right, I'm pushing here, I need to come up here. Right? And then on the other side, I come up. And I come up. And I come up. There are times in Qigong exercises and in the Tai Chi form where you do look down on purpose. But usually you don't. Let me demonstrate one where you do look down. I do look down because I'm throwing this guy down. So if I'm pulling him down, there's no point in looking out over the South 40 there, right? But you have to know what the purpose of the move is, and that your eyes should be following or even leading the expression of that movement. So let's do a set of the pulling exercises again, right? Now, a couple of things that I hope you are starting to discover just by watching yourself. Watching yourself is the most important thing. You got to learn the principles, that's the intellectual part. But the experiential part is you go out and you move and you watch yourself and then you check yourself against those principles. And go, am I getting everything out of this that I could potentially get out of it? There's so much more going on than appears on the surface. Tai Chi, and especially Qigong, look extremely simple on the surface. And on the surface they are. But underneath, they're really quite complex. So, right, watch my body when I'm doing this. Do you notice anything? It's subtle, but it's inside, it's very strong. You are opening and closing the body, just like you open and close the fist. Watch. In fact, I can do this without the stick, right? Because exactly the same thing happens in Tai Chi, right? I'm opening the body. Open. From the Danshin, from the center. I'm opening from the center, down and up. It opens, just like you're going like this, right? Open. Now watch. It closes. Now it's closing. Now it's opening again. Now it's closing. Now it's opening again. Now it's closing. Now it's opening again. That's the actual exercise. Not all the fancy stuff with your hands and the stick. It's the opening and closing of the trunk. The full phrase is Shu Ling Ding Jin. Shu literally means insubstantial in Chinese. What's insubstantial in your body? Your mind and your spirit. Ling means to lead something. If you have your dog on a leash, it's called Gao. A dog is Gao. Gao, 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 Gao. It's onomatopoeic. Gao Ling. Lead your dog on a leash. Shu Ling. Lead what is insubstantial. Ding is this motion. This upward going motion. And Jin means energy. So the energy of leading your spirit upward. That's only half the phrase. The other half of the phrase is Qi Chen Dan Qian. Qi is your life energy. Chun means to lower, and Dan Qian is your Dan Qian. That's especially that second, but really the whole thing is an algorithm. It's not the secret. It's the finger pointing at the moon. It's not the moon. The moon is your actual action. So when you lead your qi to the Dan Qian, does it really mean lead your qi to the Dan Qian? Yeah, but it also means lead your qi to the bottom of your feet. Lead your qi to the center of the earth. It means to lower your qi. You are raising your spirit and lowering your qi. All right? So when you do this, all right, raise your spirit and lower your qi. All right? Now relax, let it come back into the Dan Qian. And now again, raise your spirit and lower your qi. Let it come back into the Dan Qian. Raise your spirit and lower your qi. Every cycle that you're going through, you're doing this. Opening and closing and opening and closing. That's the exercise. And what's the purpose of it? Well, first of all, it makes you feel really good. Secondly, that wave going through your body is your qi. So you are washing your qi through your body from the tips of your toes up to the top of your head. That's why Qigong is good for your health. Let's do one more set of these all the way through. Good. Let me show you one more thing. Suppose Annie and I were pushing hands. All right, so we're just going to do some forearm drills. So she's going to come on my wrists and push forward, very slow. Contact. Okay, now imagine that Annie's actually me and I'm somebody else. Somebody who will go unnamed. But
I can't handle this. Can't handle being you.
and I'm going to imitate what this guy in our class used to do. Watch my knees. Push. 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 Does it feel different?
Yes, he's giving. Give it up.
You see what's happening with my knees? When you feel me cave into the knees, push into that cave.
Okay.
Push. I would push that guy out, and he was a high-level player. I would push him out every day. And one day, Master Zhang came, and we were pushing like that. And Master Zhang, as he always did, just sort of stood there and watched for a while. And then he said something in Chinese to this other guy who was Chinese, and he walked away. And this other guy, we'll call him Joe. Not his name, but call him Joe. And he looked sort of crestfallen. And I said, well, what did Master Zhang say? He said, he told me I was cheating. I was cheating. I said, what do you mean I'm cheating? He said, you're cheating. How? Your knees. Why are you bending your knees like that? What Master Zhang meant was that Joe was cheating himself out of understanding how you have to manage your body. For instance, in push hands. Push hands is not about beating the other guy. It's about having the chance to discover what happens inside your body when someone puts a little pressure on it. When there's no pressure on it, everything's wonderful. But when there's a little pressure on it, now you got to think. You got to figure out how to handle that pressure. And what Master Zhang was saying was, this other guy finally figured out, he was cheating by bending his knees. Now, there's a difference between flexing your knees and bending your knees. You always have to flex your knees. Right? They have to stay very flexy. But when you bend your knees, you better have a good reason, because if somebody's pushing with you and they're any good, they feel your knees bend, that gives them an opportunity to push into the bend, and you will collapse. So what should Joe have been doing? That's what Master Zhang was trying to point out to him. You're cheating by doing something you shouldn't be doing instead of doing something you should be doing. What should he have been doing?
Shuling Ding Jing.
Well, yes, Shuling Ding Jing, but there's a particular biomechanical thing you got to do. And listen to this, guys, because every single exercise you should be doing this. You don't bend in the knees, you bend in the hips. If you bend in the knees, you just get sort of top heavy. You bend here. Now, when you bend here, it's more like a hydraulic piston moving in and out of a piston case, right? So you don't see it as much as you do with your knees. But here, come here and push. Go ahead and push him.
Oh.
All right? Watch. You won't see. I'm going to try to exaggerate this, but do it really slow. You can do it hard, but do it slow. Did you see my knee bend? Not much. Go. You sink into this qua.
It's like pushing the earth.
You literally, did you hear what she said? It's like pushing the earth. That is exactly right. That's exactly what she's doing. It's not me she's pushing, it's the earth she's pushing. What do you mean? When someone pushes on you, there's a force coming into your body. You have to learn to lead that force down into the ground. just like you're grounding an electrical strike. You've got to become Benjamin Franklin and invent the lightning rod, right? So she's pushing me here. The energy needs to go down my body and into the ground. You can do this. Give me a little push. Give me a little push. More.
That's all.
Come on, come on, come on. Right? You can do this with one foot because you're not struggling with her. You're rerouting her energy. And if that sounds really mysterious, it's just something that you need to get a little experience with.
You can feel it.
You can. What does it feel like to you?
If I can feel my energy going down that side and into the ground. I can feel it.
So it's anyone can do this. You just need a little experience with it. And when you're doing Tai Chi and Qigong, you should be practicing that at every moment. What do you mean practicing? I thought you said somebody had to be pushing on you. Somebody is pushing on you at every moment. They're coming from all different directions. If you've done any of the Tai Chi, Qigong is less martial. Nevertheless, right? When you do this, pushing down like this, you can feel right now this is opening. This joint is opening. Now it's going to close. And now the left side is going to open. Now it's going to close. And now the right side is going to open. Right? Every exercise exercises every principle. And I know this sounds, as I was emailing with one of my friends, like a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. And it does seem like that at first. But what happens if you pursue this diligently is you realize it's much simpler than it seems at first. Because the same 12 basic principles apply to every single motion. So once you learn those dozen principles and practice them, then you can bring them into all your exercises, and as well as all your Tai Chi forms. Questions?
I have a comment.
When you do this exercise, guys, don't do this. All right? Do this. And when you do the Tai Chi form, right? Can you see the same principles motivating all this stuff? So what you should be learning in this class is not how to do the exercises, but how to see and appreciate the basic principles. Because once you get those, you can go on and do anything in Qigong and Tai Chi. Qigong is just a series of exercises that people have made up over the years. You can make up your own exercises. The exercises are not some sacred doctrine. What they are is just something somebody decided to do one morning. You can decide to do it too, as long as you abide by the right principles. Yes, Barbara. Good. Yes. I don't know if you guys can see Barbara. I can. She's doing it correctly. Very good. This is why Qigong works. It's not because of the exercises. Those you can just make up. It's because of the basic principles. Okay. Let's do shoulders.
Could I make one quick comment?
Yes.
You probably know what it's going to be. When we do the polling, for example,
Yeah.
there's no, watching you do it very quickly, and there's no evidence at all of what's actually going on, that you're doing this. I mean, it looks like you're just going, and when you demonstrate it, we can clearly see, and you've probably internalized it, and you're doing it in a way, but we don't actually see that. If you play a video, watch yourself doing that for the less initiated.
I'm well aware of it.
So slow down.
Well,
So slow down.
Master Zhang used to say all the time, if I don't show you, you won't see it. And he was talking about exactly what you're talking about, and he was exactly right, and he never slowed down. You have to learn. I just instinctively, maybe because I did wrestling in school, I instinctively just watched him the right way. Most other, not all, but most other people watched his hands. That's the wrong thing to do. What you got to watch is his belly. And Zhang was as difficult to read as they come, because you think I've internalized it. He internalized it so that you would not see anything. You had no idea what he was doing.
You'd just be picking yourself up off the ground.
What he would do is demonstrate on you. Now, what Zhang had the ability to do that we don't is if like Kevin, I had asked a question, he would say, "Come here," right, in Chinese. And then he would have me, come here, around here to my right side. He would have me stand to his right side, and he would do this with anybody who asked a question, and put one hand on his Dan Qian, and the other hand on his Ming Men, which is the back of the Dan Qian. Right? Squeeze, squeeze, right? And then, can you feel it?
Yeah, bag of squirrels.
And that, in a sense, that actually made it worse, because you go, I don't know, how does he even do that with his stomach? But in another way, there's a direct transference of energy from one person to another. But it's still, Kevin, honest to God, it took years.
And you had to come to every class and listen
And you
to
had to
every
come to every
lecture.
class, because most of the time it was just practice. Like today, it's a real lecture and explanation class. But we can't do that every time. We have to practice. So the only way to get this is to be very, very patient.
And
That
come
means-
to every class.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you a story, and this is an absolutely true story. The first private lesson I had with Master Zhang was up near his house, which at that time was up at Sutro Heights, near Sutro Heights Park, about a block away. And we would go to Sutro Heights Park, and we would do the private lesson there. And I realized in the very first lesson, it's like a little voice in my head said, if you're going to do this, and you intend to really get this, you must be patient with your teacher and with yourself and with the circumstances, because all of them are limited, and you will have to work with those limitations. So you'd better develop a little patience if you want to get this, because it's not easy. Doing them is as simple as pie. Learning them is very difficult. I was watching, I'm sure you know the pianist Marta Argerich, who's in her early 80s right now. Wonderful pianist. She makes playing the piano, it's so easy. It's just easy. But what did it take to learn it? It's exactly the same thing. Tai Chi and Qigong are one of the great arts of the world. And if you want to learn it, you're going to have to pay your dues. The other option is we could just do this, guys. We could just do this. All right? I'll just move very slowly, and we can play some nice tinkly music in the background, and we'll never mention the Danshan or anything. That's what most classes in Qigong and Tai Chi are about. But I can't do that. That's not the way I was trained, and it's not what I'm interested in. So there is an enormous burden on all you students. There just is, seriously. I went to every single class with Master Zhang for 20 years, and I did two 2-hour private lessons with him every week for 12 years. That was the only way to get all this. It's not because it's difficult. It's because it's another culture and another tradition. And the guy didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Chinese.
Well, and you're also asking yourself to be present in your body in a completely different way.
Yes, I grew up in the Midwest. We're not even in our bodies in the Midwest. All right? So for me, this was an enormous stretch to do this. All right? If you want to do it, you're going to have to stretch too. All right, let's skip the shoulders and do the wrists. Where are you doing the wrist from? If you're doing the wrist from your shoulder, you're doing it wrong. Do it from here. All right, can you see that? I threw my back out for you, Kevin. You think when you begin this, when I say things begin from the Danshan and demonstrate this, that you have to move physically to move your energy body. What you learn as time goes on is you don't have to do that. There's a different way to do it. It's directly from the mind to the energy body. You don't have to involve the physical body. Catherine, you have done Alexander technique, correct? Come and tell us what the Alexander technique principle of the directions is.
So Alexander technique is very subtle, actually. You have to feel the direction, but you don't really see it from the outside. She would say, for example, extend your spine, and if you look at yourself in the mirror, you won't see anything. But inside, you really feel your spine and the direction of your head going up. I mean, it's something you learn. It's not that something happening the first time you do an Alexander lesson, and it's something you learn, and it does happen, really.
Yes.
It does.
It's this Alexander, I swear to God, I don't know that much about Alexander. I know he hurt his voice and spent 10 years developing this method called the Alexander technique. I swear to God, the guy studied Qigong. Because this is exactly what you do with Qigong, and I mean exactly. The example of the principle of the directions that I was taught was put your mind, don't move your physical body at all, just relax your physical body. Don't move it at all. Put your mind on your spine. Now, on both sides, left and right, go out from your spine to your shoulders, as if there's energy flowing from your spine to your shoulders. And you can feel that. That's Qigong.
I mean, you feel it after, a lot of, you feel it, but after a lot of lessons. I mean, you do feel it. You do. If you do it every day, after a while, you really do feel it. And it's kind of magical, I think, the day you feel it.
It is magical. It is magical. And yet, when the process that Catherine just described is exactly what happens in Qigong and in Tai Chi. Tai Chi is just an elaborate form of Qigong. So anything I say about Qigong applies to Tai Chi. This is exactly what happens. At first, it's like, what the hell is he talking about? Energy flows and this and that. That's just something in your head. No, it's not. It's very real, but you're not going to feel it the first time. You got to kind of gently work into it. And that's why one reason why you do these exercises, right? If I'm actually going to turn my wrist, right? I've been doing this for 40 years. So what happens in me, I don't even think about it. But what happens is the energy flow across my belly goes in that direction. Now, I could engage my physical body in order to show you, but that's not actually what I'm doing. What I'm doing is exactly what Catherine described. I'm just using my mind to move my energy. The same way, put your mind on your center, on your spine, and move the energy out to your shoulders. You broaden your shoulders by moving your energy body, not your physical body. In other words, you actually have two bodies, physical and energetic. And in the West, we don't pay much attention at all to the energy body. So you've actually been shortchanged. You have a whole natural birthright that in a certain sense was kind of suppressed. I grew up in the Midwest, and let me tell you, it's culturally suppressed. No word is ever said. Nobody says, you may not use your energy body. It's not the way it happens. It's much more subtle. But in fact, that's what happens. You lose your natural animal body, which is your energy body. Qigong is training in reclaiming your energy body. And it takes a while. So sometimes I might do this, even though in a sense it's kind of fake, in order to show you that you need to use the daimai around the waist and the dantian, right? But the truth is you don't really use it physically, a tiny little bit. 98% of it is actually invisible. Let me demonstrate something. We'll finish with this. Called single whip. It's a Tai Chi move. If you don't have your energy body, and especially your daimai, your belt meridian here, this move won't work. Single whip, dan bien. You think, oh, he's using his arm to push someone, which in a way is true. But what powers it is that foot and the daimai. It's not this. That's a little icing on the cake. Now I'm going to have to be very careful with this because otherwise she's going to fall over. So spread your legs out a little bit. So she's in a horse stance, right? And she's going to give me a backhand to the nose, right? Boom. All right. If you just try to do that with your arm, in a sense, you cancel yourself out because you're pulling here and you're pushing there, right? Instead, you do it with your foot and your waist, right? So this is, the Qigong we're doing is the beginning of becoming familiar with your energy body. And it's not, it's not that Qigong is going to give you your energy body. You've already got your energy body. This is just a matter of becoming aware of it and then training it up within a tradition that is very sophisticated. Just like Alexander technique is a very sophisticated technique. And I'm sure, Catherine, I'm sure that guy must have trained with a Chinese Qigong master, I swear. Otherwise, he was just a blinking genius. Okay, guys, we'll pick it up tomorrow and we'll just exercise tomorrow. Ciao. See you later.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's start by emptying the lymph nodes in the upper body, right behind the jaw, down the neck, very, very gently. And the other side. And starting at the ankles, gently, gently pat, bringing everything toward the heart. I always find that my knees are a little tender, so I always give them a little extra. bean bag, you can just use your open hands cupped like this. They work just as well. And the belly contains the most lymph nodes. Kidneys. If you're going to use your hands, just open fist. Get the arms. I always find this spot on my arm to be a little tender, so I give it a little extra. And the other arm. And use the pads of your fingers to empty the nodes in your chest, in between the ribs especially. Those are always tender on my body for some reason. And if you can, raise up on your tiptoes. What you're doing is flexing your calf muscles. The calf muscles are what bring the fluids from the lower body up to the upper body and the heart. It's sort of like your lower body heart. Now close everything. I like to transfer everything to the earth.